So what is hallmark? Hallmark is like a stamp on the metal. So I put a picture over here. So that's the hallmark. So the hallmarks of the cancer means kind of the standard characteristic of cancer, which was originally proposed by Doug Hanahan and Bob Weinberg in Cell paper in 2000. So the hallmarks of cancer, describing about 6 attributes for the acquired capabilities of cancer. And that has been really influential that about 1 decade later in the same Cell paper, a review, the hallmarks of the cancer, the next generation, because over that decade, there has been a lot of more discoveries and, and findings about the characteristics of cancer. So we will just briefly touch on these aspects, which has influenced a lot about the way we understand about the cancer. So let's go one by one. So first, acquisition of self-sufficiency in growth signals leading to unchecked growth. So growth signals such as make the cell to proliferate, divide and proliferate. If the growth signal is consistently coming, that can cause the cells to keep proliferating and form a mass or tumor. So that is a sustained proliferative signaling is one aspect of the cancer acquired. And the second is, another is, there are other mechanisms of inside the cell to suppress a growth, because keep growth means a tumor formation. So our cells have those sensitivity. However, somehow loss of sensitivity to this anti-growth signal can lead to unchecked growth. So that's the second one. It's kind of the cancer cells somehow evade these growth suppressor mechanism. And the third is the cells usually, if there is a mutation or some problem, the cells are supposed to die by themselves. So that's a self-suicidal mechanism or programmed cell death, which we call as apoptosis. But the cancer cells somehow acquire the loss of capability for apoptosis to allow growth, even there's genetic errors and external anti-growth signals. So that's the third one, resisting the cell that look at this nice symbol. So that's like a tomb, but resisting the cell death. And fourth is about senescence. So, you know, the cell chromosome has a telomere. You remember that leads to Nobel Prize, the finding of the enzyme telomerase, which which keeps the telomere length. So when the cells proliferate and proliferate, the length of the telomere gets shortened until they are too short, then the cells will undergo apoptosis. But so that the cells will enter senescence and cannot proliferate immortally. So that immortality is kind of coming from losing the capacity for senescence, so that the cells now become, you know, limitless replication is possible. So that this fourth as enabling somehow the cancers, many of the cancers enable replicative immortality. And the fifth is also is important, but when the tumor is forming, the cells inside is now beyond the distance of diffusion that will, you know, suffer from the oxygen and nutrient lack. So the cancer cells somehow acquire to secrete factors to nearby vessels to grow the new vessel forming to feed the cancer. So acquisition of sustained angiogenesis, literally meaning the new vessel formation from existing vessel, allows the tumor to grow beyond the limitation of passive nutrient diffusion. So this inducement of angiogenesis is another very important capabilities of the cancer. And finally, probably the most definitive aspect of how to define benign tumor into malignant cancer is the acquisition of the ability to invade neighboring tissue, which normal cell doesn't do it. And also the ability to spread or shed into distant part to building a new colony, we call it as a metastasis at distant sites, and forming malignant tumors is the sixth. So activating mechanism of invasion and metastasis is the acquired capabilities of the cancer. We can define by these six attributes as a very key capabilities of the cancer. Here I put carcinoma, and carcinoma is specifically a cancer arising from epithelial tissue. So why is carcinoma important? Because more than about 90% of solid tumor actually arises from epithelium or epithelial tissue. So that origin we call carcinoma.